Okay. All right. As you can see, it's the end of the world in the background.
It is.
Yeah. Man, it's like 8:45?
8:45 and it's still light out. It's awesome.
Yeah, the movie started at 7. I was like, oh, right, there wasn't any trailers before this, so yeah, okay, got out at like 8:45 or so. I'm slightly disappointed it wasn't packed in there.
Yeah, there was I don't know, what do you think, a dozen people or so?
Something like that, but I mean, these like re-releases like this are kind of a crapshoot. Like, there's no telling when it's going to be crowded and when it's not. Because I don't remember it being terribly crowded during like Purple Rain or Breakfast Club, but it was during Jaws. Like, Ryan and I had to sit in the front row for Jaws. Granted, it was re-released like a year ago, or maybe less than a year ago.
When I saw Back to the Future last year, it was packed.
I'm sure.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw it back home in California, but it was packed.
And I wanted to go to that bad, but like Dave canceled on me at like the last minute.
Aw. Damn you, Dave, if you're watching.
I remember him promoting, because we were planning on doing the Back to the Future Day thing with all 3 Back to the Future movies. And then, I can't remember what video it was, but it was one video where at the end of it, he promoted it. He's like, stay tuned, we're going to see the 3 Back to the Future movies. And in my head, I'm like, you just jinxed it. Something is going to come up. I was like, I should have just sat there and said, by that he means we're not seeing it. Great. I still don't know why we didn't do it. It's not like, crap, we missed it in the theater. Now we can't see it. We still could have just watched it at home like the next day. Man. So when was the last time you saw this in the theater?
Oh, God. I have no idea.
I remember...
I have no idea. The last time I saw it on television was probably a month ago.
Yeah. The last time I saw the movie was maybe a year ago, but I missed it when they re-released it like last year or whenever it was. I think I was at a con or something. But I have seen it in the theater. It wasn't in 1984 when it first came out, but it was like 30 years ago. It was during the summer when the program we all went to in the summer where we were at during the day, they had like that summer movie program where it was like every Thursday or Wednesday there would be like a movie playing in the afternoon and we would all go see it. And one of those, it was Ghostbusters, and it was like 30 years ago. It was the late 80s. It was before the second one came out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember you. Of course, you would have only been 2 when this came out. I don't remember taking you to that one, of course.
No, I remember the first time I saw the movie.
I remember taking you to the second one, but like we were talking earlier, I'm sure that wasn't the first movie I ever took, because that was 89,
no,
right?
That was 1989. There were definitely movies I saw in the theater before 1989. No, the first time I saw Ghostbusters was my dad taped it. It probably 85 or 86, around when it was first starting on like HBO, and he taped it off there, and oh god, yeah, I watched it as much as every kid who grew up in the 80s did.
It's with all the classic re-releases we've done, it's just one more that if it's on the television, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
You know, I just Ghostbusters 1, Ghostbusters 2, Beverly Hills Cop, Back to the Future, you know, all the things that you and I have seen here together.
Did you watch the animated series at all, Real Ghostbusters? I used to watch the animated series too, and the second movie gets a lot of flack, but I like the second movie.
I like the second movie.
I do too. It's not the first one,
no,
but it's still funny.
When you compare sequels, I mean, I didn't even waste my time, for example, seeing Hot Tub Time Machine. The first one was great.
Oh, the second one?
Yeah,
that's
the second one.
God, yeah.
But I mean, I like the second Ghostbusters.
No, I do too. Like a good comedy sequel is hard to do, and no, Ghostbusters 2 isn't anywhere close to being as good as the first one. It's still a fun movie. It still gets a lot of laughs. There's a lot of quotable lines in the film. In terms of a comedy sequel, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. I mean, you've got all the original characters. You've even got the mayor. You know, it's great.
You got Slimer back in it too. You got the Titanic in the film.
And who's the judge?
Oh, I know who you mean.
That actor's awesome.
I forget the actor, but what I love about this movie is that the universe that the first one takes place in is like a horror film. The movie looks like a horror film. It is shot like a horror film, but it happens to follow around a group of characters who are funny, who are comedian, who are out of a comedy film, but they're in this pretty dark subject matter. And yeah, there's certainly silly stuff that goes on in the movie. Of course there is, whether it's Slimer, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, or things like that. But they're dealing with really end-of-the-world stuff in this movie. And the movie is shot, it's not shot like a comedy. The second one is, the new movie looks like it is. When they're in scenes, like the library at the beginning of the movie's shot like The Exorcist. And they're watching it again in the theater and seeing it on the big screen and everything. There are beautiful, haunting shots in the film with uses of matte paintings and different colors in the sky. Like at the end when there's all the shit going on the rooftop, and then there's these exterior shots where there's this blending of matte paintings with the lightning effects and this cloudy staircase that looks like Xanadu. Like it's just jaw-droppingly beautiful to look at. And when you see just like the sky looking like hell and the buildings look kind of comic booky a little bit, it's absolutely stunning looking. And it's, like I said, it looks like it's out of a horror film.
The sky sometimes looks like things are going to be swallowed up into it. Not unlike, no, it's not a good comparison, but not unlike Close Encounters of the Third Kind. You know, when the little boy just, you know, things are just sucked up into that demonic looking sky.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God.
Like they're dealing with like a real fucking threat in this movie. It just happens to be like it's a group of really funny people who are saving us.
Exactly.
And,
real wrath of God type stuff.
yeah. Everybody getting this so far?
Yeah. And when Ernie Hudson and Dan Aykroyd are driving around in the Ectomobile or whatever, and they're they're talking about Ecto One, and they're talking about Revelations and the end times, and they're thinking maybe this is the end times. I mean, we look at it from a comedic perspective because it's a comedy, but you know, for those,
this is a comedy, not afraid to have that discussion.
Exactly. Exactly. It was fun, like with all these classic re-releases that we see, all the things that I didn't notice before. You know, all the dot matrix printers and the mainframe computers. I told you a while ago, seeing the John F. Kennedy bust.
Oh, in Lewis's apartment.
Yeah, there's so many things that you miss, and that's why seeing these classic re-releases is so much fun, because you kind of look for those things.
You do, and it's especially fun for me because I'm so busy at home doing the snob stuff and and then every Thursday being here, and I know I've said this many times before in these re-releases, but it's fun for me too, because it's really an opportunity I have to go back and rewatch some stuff, because I don't usually a lot at home. When I'm not watching something for the site, when I'm not at the theater watching the new releases, I'm usually watching a lot of TV shows or playing a game or doing something. So watching and doing like the re-releases and things like that is a cool way to go back and rewatch stuff, and to also see it on the big screen, to see how a lot of things hold up, and to see little things that maybe you forgot about. In this case, it was fun noticing all of the Stay Puft product placement before the Marshmallow Man shows up.
With the eggs at the beginning of the movie.
I remembered that. Like, I remembered, oh yeah, she had the thing of marshmallows sitting on the kitchen table. I did forget about, there's one, I think it's in the scene where magic is playing, where you can see the side of a building has a big Stay Puft Marshmallow banner on it, or like a billboard. I might have forgotten about that. I can't remember, but I was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. And the scene where Mick Smiley's magic is playing is just an amazingly beautifully edited shot. The music is perfect.
It's
like
perfect.
Going back and forth between funny stuff that's happening, like with the ghost cab driver, and also creepy stuff. Like possessed Dana Barrett looking out the window and the building explodes and there's the city in the background and shit.
And her, like, possessed Dana Barrett when there is no Dana, there's only Zool. You know, it's almost Exorcist Ish.
That's what I mean. Like, it looks...
For lack of a better word.
No, you're exactly right. The way that scene is shot, and the way that the music kicks in that scene, it's a funny scene. It is, between Peter Venkman and Dana Barrett. But when she's rising above the bed, and that really...
turns over.
Yeah, that haunting music is kicking in, and you can see the city in the background and stuff like that. That's what I mean. Like, it's so beautifully shot. Like, it does look like you're watching something out of The Exorcist. And the second movie didn't do that. And I like the second movie, I do, but like this movie, like, it just really went for it in a way that the second movie didn't. And because the second movie kind of made it a bit more child friendly. Because the tone was certainly a lot lighter in the second one. You know, they weren't chain smoking or anything like that. I love the fact that they're smoking up a storm in this movie.
Oh.
Like, they're all dirty, covered in slime.
I know. And Dan Aykroyd's got a cigarette stuck to his mouth when he gets frightened when they're in the hotel or wherever. You know what I'm talking about? He's standing with his mouth open, his cigarette falls out of his mouth, and it just sticks there. And then, of course, random scenes, like when he's, our favorite one, when he's working on the car, and Dana walks in, he doesn't even look up from working on the engine until she passes by, and he's got a cigarette hanging out. Yeah. And, you know, I was thinking, that's 32 years ago. Think how young he was when he was writing that.
Dan Aykroyd? Yeah, it was written for him and John Belushi.
And Belushi was gone in 1980.
Yeah.
So 36 years ago.
When the trailer for the remake came out, and the first part of it says, like, 30 years ago, I'm sitting there like, oh, Jesus Christ, it's been 30 years.
I can't even think about it. Oh, my God.
Jesus fucking Christ. Wow.
But that's why it's fun seeing this stuff with you again.
And I love William Atherton in this movie.
He's so horrible.
Because the thing is, he has a point. Like, he does. Like, there's the possibility of some nuclear shit going on in their basement. Like, yeah, a guy from the EPA is probably going to want to ask about that. But he's just a guy. I mean, he's kind of a dick. At first, he's not really a dick about it. Like,
no, he's just annoying. He's just like, oh, God, here's somebody else from the government or whatever, you know. And I mean, EPA people are just absolutely wonderful, and we need them and everything. But every once in a while, there'll be that one that's like, oh God.
But at first, William Atherton. But at first, William Atherton, he just wanted to see it.
He
like,
did.
That's it. Like, may I see the storage facility? And
He didn't say
Venkman's
the magic word.
What is the magic word, Mr. Venkman?
Please.
And Venkman's is kind of a dick to him. So, like, this actually probably could have been solved fast if he just showed it to the guy.
I know, but the movie would have been much shorter.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But, like, after that, there was no forgiveness between Walter Peck and him. Walter Peck just like, all right, fine, fuck this guy. I'm just going to make his life miserable. Even if it's these crackpot conspiracy theories about releasing nerve gas into the sky.
And he never gave up. Even when the fire chief or whoever it was said that he saw... No, it wasn't the fire chief. Said that he saw, pointed to the map and said that he saw the walls in the 13th precinct or whatever were bleeding. You know, I mean, Peck still wouldn't give up and say, okay, maybe this is something kind of demonic.
Oh, this is the guy, he was such a dick that even, like, Egon, he broke Egon.
Yeah, I know
like,
it.
Your mother! And then jumping at him, like, he broke Egon Spengler. Like, how much of a dick do you have to be to do that?
Because, I mean, even he's, you know, Harold Ramis, two characters he's played where he was basically kind of a pacifist, and that's Egon and his role in Stripes.
Yeah.
I'm basically a pacifist. I'm going to be right behind you guys all the way.
This is basic English. Classic.
Yeah, every kid should see it. Every parent should find a way to get to a theater and take their kids. It was kind of fun seeing little kids there.
Yeah, there were kids there with their parents.
It was great. Little ones.
Yeah, and their parents looked like they were about my age.
Yeah, God.
And there's a couple of convention stories about Ghostbusters, one of which we met William Atherton at one of them.
So cool.
And, oh yeah, because he signed my VHS of Ghostbusters, and in real life, his personality is like night and day. But I mean, I didn't think he was gonna be a
like
dick like in this or Die Hard or anything like that. But he was kind of like the dude. Like he was just sitting there and he was like, "Oh man, this place is great, man. I love this convention. It's wild, man."
High. He was probably high.
And I was like, "I love Walter Peck, man. He's like one of my favorite characters in the movie." And he was like, "He is a great character, man. He's such a great character."
And he was an ass, but he was great.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what would the movie have been without him?
Brian. Brian ran into Ernie Hudson in the restroom at a convention, and he didn't realize it was Ernie Hudson because Brian has a very, very strict no talking at the urinals rule. So Brian's at the urinal taking a piss. Suddenly from his peripherals, he sees dude come in dressed like a Ghostbuster. And
it was Ernie?
It was Ernie Hudson, because at a lot of conventions he's at, he does wear the Ghostbusters outfit. So Ernie Hudson comes next to him and says something to Brian like, "Oh, you don't go across the streams, right?" And Brian didn't look, so he didn't notice it was him. So Brian's like, He didn't realize until later that it was Ernie Hudson.
Did he go talk to him?
I don't think so, because Ernie Hudson was he was about the most expensive one there. I think there was a lot of people from Ghostbusters at that convention. There was Ernie Hudson, there was William Atherton, there was the lady who played Gozer.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah.
If you told me that, I forgot.
A lot of the like the person who made like I think like the Slimer voices I think was there. There were some voice actors there. That's been a few years. That was a few years. That was one over in Indiana that we went to. It might have been a horror hound.
It was kind of sad seeing the mayor's gone and Harold Ramis is gone.
Yeah.
You know, the extras in the jail never get old. Those guys are awesome. I want to like look them up. And the one
like they're planning a heist.
Yeah, the one police officer, isn't he the actor that played Rock? The police officer that got him out and said, "Hey, the mayor wants to."
Oh no, that was Reginald Vell Johnson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't mean The Rock. I mean the show.
It was Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
No, that's not what I mean. Probably been a youngster.
No, that was Reginald Vell Johnson. I'm assuming still playing Carl Winslow. Just happens to be living in New York at this moment.
Okay, that's who it was. Doggone it. Shoot, I was going to say something else and forgot what it was.
Remember Ghostbusters cereal?
Yeah.
I've been looking for that on eBay. I've seen full boxes of it on eBay. None right now. I'm trying to keeping my eye out for it. I used to eat that. Man, that shit was delicious. But real quick, do you have any? And then I want to do something else after this.
Sure.
That'll be a separate thing. Do you have any final words or anything about?
Oh gosh, it's
movie?
You know, it's just one of those classic re-releases that you're still seeing, even though some folks have passed on. You're still seeing people like Ernie Hudson and others. You know, obviously, you know, Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray are still out there doing everything. I'm excited to see the remake. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be like this one, but I'm a huge Melissa McCarthy fan, so. And obviously the other Leslie Jones is in it, so that'll be kind of fun. But no, I'm just glad I got to go and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm not sold on anything from the new one, but I'm not. I don't think any of the trailers are very good. But I mean, I've said it before in the videos, but I mean the movie could turn out fine. It could. I don't know. There's the chance for that. Maybe I'm optimistic. I don't know.
You said Aykroyd produced it, right?
I don't know. Yeah, he executive produces it. But I mean that doesn't mean like remember Nothing But Trouble.
Oh God.
Although I could go back and rewatch that. It's terrible. I could go back and watch it again because the fuck was he on when he made that?
Oh my God, that movie was so bad.
We saw that in the theater.
We saw that in the theater.
Only people who saw that movie in the theater. The fuck.
Taylor Negron.
Yeah.
I was like James Bond.
Yeah. Man, I miss Taylor Negron.
Yeah, he was awesome.
He was so good in The Last Boy Scout. When he was Milo, the bag get chopped up by the helicopter at the end of it. Oh, he was so good in that movie.
He was the best pizza guy ever, too.
I said it's the pizza guy, sir. Learn about Q, Mr. Ant, having some food.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, totally. And the movie is, I mean, it got re-released tonight. It is again in like a week. They're showing it again. So you didn't get a chance to see it last year or tonight. Yeah, keep your eye out. If there's an AMC theater nearby you, it's probably playing.
Yeah, try to go see it before you see the new one.
Yeah, well, I had to get one thing in I wanted to see because I got to see Warcraft tomorrow. See ya.
Bye.